Guys, at least we have a plan. Oh, it is her. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the next part of chapter 33. The last part was kind of overwhelming. Especially the last thing that we experienced, the whole conversation with Prometheus was just so, I don't know, even after watching it again through the editing process, I don't really think I understand a lot of what she was telling me. I feel like I got it more when I was playing it, but after watching it again, I feel like I didn't understand anything at all. So I would say without further ado, we are heading right in because we are still in the conversation with Prometheus. So I think it's good to go right in, and try to see if the conversation about the narratives, about the whole storytelling itself, because sometimes I'm so fixated on one thing that I feel like I don't get the bigger meaning of the story that she is telling, And there were a lot of I don't even know how to describe it. There were a lot of talking about a story. Yeah, I can't even describe it because for me there has to be someone that tells the story, right? But in the present there is no story because you are experiencing it, right? And
断りの律者であるあなたは分散式コアを持っていますよね。
yeah, there was just so much going on,
30万に分割できる
and it was hard to
その話は本当ですか？
really grasp everything. Oh, and side note, I will be eating at the beginning.
彼らはベルリンで起きた崩壊の犠牲者たち。
Okay, we have already seen this.
滅ぼされた都市が世界に残し
I
た
will
最
be
後の
eating
残
on
響
the
です。
side because I
この
haven't
で
been
目の前
eating
の
right
空間は
now.
このようになっているんですね。
I don't really get the purpose of Hare and Prometheus doing this, but okay, another side note to me eating in this part or at least at the beginning is I wanted to do a little bit of research on the stigma. I read through an explanation that there are actually 3 types of stigma in some kind of way, and even Honkai is some kind of stigma, but there are different types of stigmas and stuff like that, and that's why each of them kind of works differently. It's complicated. Why is this game so guys, I'm at a point in this game where I just feel like they could have written this a lot easier to understand. Yeah, it is a time now where I feel kind of overwhelmed and I feel like I have to go back and read into things. But it's also hard because these things tend to have spoilers. And that is the next part that I want to talk about is I got a little bit spoiled while I was reading about the Will of Honkai because I was kind of curious what the Will of Honkai is, and the thing is I found out, and I think at this point in the game we already should know, that the Will of Honkai did not exist in the previous era. I didn't know that, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's what I read was about. And it also told me who or what the Will of Honkai is in this era, and I think that is the thing that I'm not supposed to know at this point. I'm not looking at Prometheus. I don't know how this happened, and you don't have to explain at this point, but yeah, I got kind of spoiled on that a little bit, so I stopped reading about the Will of Honkai. Even when I read stuff, I tend to forget it because in the meantime there's just... Why is she not taking me with her? Oh. Because I feel in the meantime there's just so much happening in private life and I have to remember things from work and stuff like that. Where is she going? And so it's hard to keep up with the game story as well as with the Honkai Star Rail story, and not get them confused. Why is she talking so quietly? The most easily deconstructed Herrscher of this era is the Herrscher of Reason, who possesses a serious threat. most easily deconstructed because it is divided, or what?
しかしウサギは自ら手を下す必要はありません。最初の段階でタイミングを見て成婚計画にあなたの弱点をばらすだけで十分です。
Okay, okay.
では最後の藁になったのがケビンとの戦いなんですね。
Well, I feel like you have to, like, this is insane because I just now clock it. The chapter is called In the Name of Truth. Why did I not think about Bronya at all? You know? I feel like we have to, like, get the power of truth, or like the Herrscher of Truth power, in order to fight Kevin. Because if I am being a little bit correct, then I understood that the Herrscher powers of Bronya, the truth powers, are needed to construct whatever we are constructing. Like, construct a new world, or construct like a new web, maybe? I don't know. Or maybe she's the power that we need to cut the threads of the existing web of Project of Stigma. Like, one of those two.
ええ、その戦いによってもともと不安定だっ
The
た
battle
断りの
depleted
列車の
Herrscher
力
of
が
Reason's
さらに
already
消耗した
unstable
の
power.
です。
Okay.
そして高次元に存在する成婚計画に
Torn
侵食され
apart.
バラバラになった。
That is crazy.
その後残った不動点が終焉によって滅ぼされたもう一つの小さな世界の泡に導入された結果、
What?
あなたたちは逆にここに囚われる
Also,
羽目
sorry
になりま
guys
した。
for always the long talk in the intro. I don't really like it because I feel like this is not what catches people, like a long intro where we talk a lot. But this game is complicated and I need a little bit of like this talk to like tell you where I'm at and what we are doing. And yeah, this part will also be split again. I'm just saying it now. I'm just recording in like one go because there is a heat wave coming up when this part is coming out. It's already way too hot again, so I am pre-recording a longer part and I just split it. I don't want to do like a new intro and outro and stuff like that. Okay? Okay. Oh, so this was not Hare's doing? I thought she was trapping us inside this dream.
知っての通り、
Maybe I'm
ウ
just too
サギの成
confused.
婚計画は夢と一般人の意識をつなげ、それをレンガにしてある種の虚構ずくめな
A
文明の運
dreamland
び手
to
を作
connect
り上げます。
consciousnesses as a vessel. Okay, we know that.
それは断りの律者の誕
So,
生
but it
と
is basically
似
a
ている
dream
ような
world.
感じがしませんか？
Compared to the birth of the Herrscher of Reason. After the Honkai corruption in Berlin, kind of the same thing happened, right? All of these consciousnesses weaved the core, maybe?
それはつまりウェルト・ジョイス、彼は
Wait, should I get it?
成婚計画が神のアダムを生み出すのなら、初代の断りの律者である彼は間違いなく人のアダムです。
Wow. Okay. So the Herrscher core wove Welt Joyce. I mean, he was alive before that, right? But you get what I'm saying.
それについてよく知らないあなたが彼のことをそんな風に評価することに少し違和感がありますが、
Well,
一つだけ確かに当たってることがあります。ベルリンの崩壊事件が発生するまでウェルト・ジョイスと呼ばれる意識は地球上に存在しませんでした。
so like he changed because like a lot of consciousness were just within him then with the core and stuff like that.
ほぼ無から誕生したとも言える律者は偶然とある犠牲者の精神の影響を受け、本能的に他の犠牲者の思想を集めるようになりました。
Herrscher, born from nothing, began collecting the thoughts of the other sacrificial victims. Herrscher of Reason is the first one, right? Like after Origin.
そして思想が豊かになり、次第に彼の律者コアも完全体になっていきました。
Ah, so that is how it ascends, right? Because Welt, Joachim, told us that he never really ascended with the Herrscher core like May or whatever. That's because it runs solely on consciousnesses, right? So that means in order to grow, we have to like get more consciousness? What's the Okay, anyways.
彼が何をしたのかは
What's the
誰も知り
plural
ませ
for
ん。
that? No one knew for sure what he had
し
done.
かしその数々の思想都市の残響は
Was a
救
call
世主へ
for
の
a
呼びかけであり
savior.
崩壊に対する人々の最後
The
の反
last
抗だ
stand
と
against
誰もが知っています。
Honkai. And the first one that was actually born to protect humanity, right?
そして
Like
廃墟か
besides
ら立ち上がったのが
origin.
ベ
That
ル
is
ト・ジョイス
cute.
という名の男です。
I love character backstory. I
足
think
元
it's
にある
very
のは怪
necessary.
人のみだとはっきりと分かっていました。
But he kind of saved the people, right? He gave them a choice to like live on like this and do something good for the planet, right?
それでも彼は悔しかったんです。
He was young when this happened, right? This was before anti-entropy.
望まれた救世主になろうと彼は必死に心のかけらを拾っていきました。
Wow.
彼らの名も過去も知らずにいる。多分全ては意味のないことだと知っていたはずです。
He wouldn't call their names. He didn't know what they were going through. He knew it was mostly pointless.
それでも彼は彼らの最後の誇りを必死に守り、やがて
That is
その誇りが奇跡
actually
へと変わり
insane
ました。
though that he was able to like collect them and give them the hope that they needed, right? That's why he said he is Welt. He's fighting for humanity.
蝶が指先に止まり、
That is cute. I love butterflies.
彼がその羽を直
The
し、
only insect I can tolerate. And he fixed its broken wings. The butterflies ones, I thought like Herrscher of Reason was solely machinery and stuff like that, but I think we learned that they can also create something different, right? I think they explained it in one, like, was it the last part?
世界の子供はこうして深い眠りにつ
The
いたんです。
child of the world fell into deep sleep.
その頃は律者の力さえ目覚めていなかったのですね。 はい、
Crazy.
私たちの時代にとって紛れもない本物の奇跡だったんだと思います。
That's the real miracle that he didn't awaken his Herrscher powers before he was able to use them.
でしたら人のアダム、この表現は合っているのですね。彼への敬意から見ればそうでしょう。しかし
Both are too narrow a term because it's not just one person, even though like the consciousness are like in one person and they kind of merge together. It's like a whole thing, right? And not like one person.
短い人生の中で彼はさまざまな才能を持った人々と出会いました。そのことで自分の
His
力の
power
源は
instead came
普
from
通
the
にあるのだ
ordinary.
と、より
Okay.
自身はごく普通の世界の子供だと信じ、そんな気持ちを抱えながら自分を犠牲にし、
That
暴
is
君の手
cute.
から周りの人々を守りました。
It's like mostly the most basic people who are more like the people who want to save something, right?
自分の意識が消え去っても、断りの律者の力は同じように普通の人々に受け継がれていくと信じてたんです。
That is so cute.
救世主など必要ない。俺たち自身で自分たちを救う。
We
救
like
世主とし
Welt
て生まれたの
Joyce,
かもしれません
right?
が、彼
I
の
feel like
信念は競技の
sometimes they
救世主の
even
概念を
have
超え
like
てい
these
ます。
people who are not really present in the story, but they are very present in the story. Do you know what I mean? Like his story is still so present. They give like so much credit to like the people that are not really much on screen themselves, you know? And I really like that. Like that makes me connected to the characters that I don't really know in some sort because they are not part of, or maybe not part of the story is not the right wording, but you know what I mean, right? Like he's not that present, but he is because of like he's the origin, right, of the Herrscher of Reason. We can save ourselves. Perhaps he was born a savior, but his beliefs went beyond that.
律者は崩壊の使徒ですが、人類の戦士になることもできます。悪魔でなければ天使でもない。すべての律者は単なる普通の人間に過ぎません。
True, true, true.
説明ありがとうございます。この時代にとって断りの律者という名前が一体何を意味するのか、これで十分に理解することができました。しかし、もしいつか 断りの律者を表す30万人の思想が世界を
Oh,
救う
it is not the
妨げとな
first
ってし
Herrscher.
まっ
What is
た
the
ら、
first Herrscher? I
三
forgot.
代目
No,
の断り
second
の
is
律者、
Void, maybe?
あなたは何を選択しますか？
No, third Herrscher of Reason. Okay, anyways, I'm too confused. Let me just focus on the story. I feel like Herrscher of Reason is the first one, right? I kind of forgot. It doesn't matter.
世界を
She's the
救う
third Herrscher of
妨げ
Reason. Like, not the third of the Herrschers. Get in the way of rescuing the world. That is an interesting thought, though. What if, like, these consciousnesses don't want to save the world anymore?
ひどく辛い選択であることは理解しています。ですが、断りの律者の力は崩壊寸前で、
Hmm.
成婚計画に制御されやすい。このこと
Then
が
how do we
私たちを
stabilize it
阻んでいる
then?
のも事実です。30万人の思想は規模が大きく複雑かもしれませんが、70億人を包括する
It's
成婚
just
計
a
画から
number.
見れば、30万人分の無教を追加するに過ぎません。
So there has to be a way to
もちろん
stabilize
歴史を
this.
軽んじるつもりはありません。ただ私は断りの律者の力と同じ性質を持つ成婚計画に対抗するときに必ず向き合う苦境を説明しているだ
So
け
there
です。
is a possibility, if I understood it correctly, there is a possibility that the consciousness that we are harboring in the Herrscher core, Herrscher of Reason, they can be taken away by, or like influenced by Project Stigma in favor of Project Stigma. So we would lose our consciousness because they were just consumed by Project Stigma, or what?
皆さんをバラバラにしたり集めたりしたのも一種の試み。ですが実際、断りの律者の力はボロボロ
But
で、
what do we
成
do?
婚
Sorry.
プロメテウス、あなたの目的は他にあるんでしょう。ただそれを知らせたかったってわけじゃないのよね。
I know I say this a lot, but it's still weird that they are helping me.
私もそう思う。さっき計画があるとかなんとかって言ってたし。
Hmm.
はい。律者コアに取り付けることで
AI
神の鍵を構築できる人工知能として私はブローニャを助けることができます。
Wait, what?
ある程
As an
度
AI that
律者
can
コア
be
の構築形
mounted
式
on
を
a
変
Herrscher
更できるの
core
です。
to form a divine key. What? Why is she able to do that?
疑似化とも言えるでしょう。別
あ
に専門用語ではありません。あなた
Just
の
the
状
name I
況
gave
を
it
考
now.
慮した造語に過ぎません。
Simulated metamorphosis. So we are. Oh. They talked about this before, right? So we are just like forcefully simulating it.
疑似化ですか。
Huh.
本物の羽化とは比べ物になりませんが、こう理解してください。成婚計画がどんなアルゴリズムで30万人の思想に影響を与えるかを教えるだけです。
And only demonstrate what algorithm is used by Project Stigma. Okay.
もしそれが反撃の方向を示してくれるなら、力自体が強大かどうかは重要ではないのかもしれませんね。でも私たちはいろいろなことを話し合ってきましたが、ブローニャには未だに理解できないことが一つだけあります。
I'm trying hard to understand.
プロメテウス、あなたはどんな立場で私たちを助けてく
Yeah,
れてるんです
yeah,
か？
okay, good question, Bronya.
何しろ前回別れた時はそういった成婚計画に対する見解を教えて
You
はくれ
didn't
ま
tell
せん
us
でし
your
たから。
understanding of Project Stigma. Her standing.
前回会った時の自己紹介を覚えていますか？私は自分
You're
がペシ
same.
ミストだと語りました。当時のあなたたちが理解できない理念を話しても何の意味もあり
You
ませ
can't
ん。
yet understand.
逆に混乱させてしまうかもしれませんし。
Maybe I should just like go with the flow sometimes, but I feel like it's hard because I wouldn't be talking if I'm just clicking and reading the story. But I feel like it's easier to understand when I just play.
それに先ほど言ったように、ここに現れなくてもあなたたちは自分の
But we
力
already
で
know that
一
this is
歩一
not
歩
going
真
to
実
happen
に近
because
づけたでしょう。
I always need to ask questions when I play. You can close in on the truth by yourself.
ブローニャちゃんへの質問の回答になっていないわ。
ではこういった説明はどうでしょうか。
I've
私は
inherited
自分
Dr.
なりの
May's
解
stance
釈で
according to my
メイ博士の
understanding.
立場を引き継ぎました。
うん。
ブローニャ、断りの律者のコアにとって成婚計画はある種のハッカーみたいなものです。
Okay.
コアの内部にある30万人の思想にハッキングすることで、それらの思想はおのずと自身の物語を失い、
Oh,
成婚
okay,
計
okay.
画の奴隷となりま
Why
す。
not explain it like that from the beginning? It would have been so much easier to understand.
成婚計画が一種の夢なら、手っ取り早くそれを取り戻したい場合、彼らを呼び覚ますのが一番です。
Wake up the consciousness in the core? Wait?
もちろんメガホンを手にして意識のかけらの中を叫んで歩くわけではありません。
Okay.
あなたがすべきことは、
You should
残された
copy
律者
Project
の
Stigma's
力で成
code
婚
and
計
make a
画のコードを
reverse
逆コン
signal.
パイルし、さらに力を集中させて、その一部を制圧する。
Man, thank God I'm not a programmer. Like, I feel like programming and stuff like that and computer stuff is like, I understand some basics if like someone explains them to me, you know, because I mean, I have a self-built PC that I didn't build myself, but I have to like do some, you know, like exchanging, and I need to know how to fix things when something's broken or whatever, or at least I could ask someone. But still, sometimes I want to do these kind of things myself, but I feel like computer stuff is sometimes very hard to understand.
この方法を使って一点突破さえ
Same
で
with
き
the
れば、
story.
好き放題に暴れることができ、あなたたちを捉えているこの虚構の網を破れま
Once we
す。
break through, you can rip apart this web of fiction all at once. Okay.
なるほど。毒を持って毒を制すのですね。はい。当然このやり方にも相応の代価があります。
Ay, ay, ay.
30万人の思想
So
の
now I
ダ
have
メ
to
ー
be
ジを受けない
careful
と
to
いう
not
保
harm
証はあり
them.
ません。
Because I don't really want to harm them.
彼らを再度集めようとしたら、逆にその一部を永遠に失ってしまうかも
That
しれ
doesn't
ません。
sound good.
問題ありません。ブローニャはとっくに覚悟を決めています。
Like, she is very like set on what she wants to do, and I feel like that is what gives her confidence and what gives her the strength to like succeed in what she is planning.
断りの律者のコアが今まで受け継いできたもの、それは人類のために戦うという意志です。
True, true,
ただ
true.
自分勝手に存在することではありません。 ジョイスさんはこの物語のプロローグで自分を犠牲にしました。それならブローニャのエピ
She's
ソード
ready to
で
give
歴史的
everything.
価値のためにためらうわけにはいきません。
I can't say this enough, but compared to like the beginning, the girls have changed so much. They have grown so much, and you can actually feel it.
安心しました。それなら問題ありませんね。では、
Of imitating the
あとは
signal.
逆コンパイルをしてコードを模倣するだけ
What
です。
about you? Can you not do that?
では、ブローニャ在地君、準備をしてください。
Oh.
これから私が独自に理解したすべてのソースコードをお見せします。コードですか？
They just flow together.
成婚計画の源は遺伝子工学にあります。それに、
Project Stigma's source is genetic.
いわゆるコードとは人類が掌握できる
The
最強
code
の
is the
助手道
strongest
具です。
narrative tool that humanity can master. Okay. Okay. Wait, what is happening? Oh god, we are hacking right
何
in.
をしたんですか？
Hacking? She already
本
told
当
us
の
this.
教科書を参考にしながら成婚計画のソースコードを説明するよりも、自ら語ってもらった方が便利でしょう。
Okay. Defeat enemies in the code space.
射撃開始。成婚計画の最も基本的なロジックは存在と呼ばれます。これは虚構が成立する礎であり、あらゆる抽象概念の根源です。みんなと一緒に戦う感覚は
What?
嫌いではありません。
Okay, I feel like these are like annoying parts for you guys because I mean I do understand like
発射ファイヤー
stuff, but sometimes I'm just like my brain is already hurting. But it's okay, it's okay. This will all lead to the fact that we save humanity.
専門用語は置いといて
They express existence two most important property, essence and change.
実
Okay.
質と変化を表しています
Like it's very like philosophical in some kind of way as well. Like this is all about how stuff exists and everything.
成婚計画のコアユニットは理念です
Ideas give people enlightenment and reflect an outline of
真理の
what we
輪郭を
call
映し出し
truth.
ます理念とは永遠の矛盾に陥るものしかしあえてそんな形で自
But
分
this
の
is how
存
they
在を
express
示
it
す
and
こと
remove
で
the boundary
実
between
在と虚
fiction
構の
and
境界を消し
reality.
去ることができるのです
It is not helping at all. Sorry, I'm bashing on the game today, but it's not helping at all that I have to like read this like very complicated stuff while I'm pressing buttons.
成婚計画の中では生命が最もストレートな理念であり絶対性が最高級の
Absoluteness is
理
the
念です
highest idea.
この計画は生命の絶対性を
The absoluteness
虚
of
構に
life
し
is
つらえ
set
るもの
within fiction.
個体性から解放することで自身を超越する真理へと変貌させるのです超越の代価その一般的な形式が死です
Okay. This is what Hare also talks about, or was talking about previously,
個体
about
であ
like the
る
whole
生命は
death
死に抗いづらいそれ自
and
身も
being
矛盾の
reborn
一
in
つ
some
で
kind of
す
way.
生命は虚構から自己の普遍性を見出しますが自身は個体という存在に過ぎませんだからこそ成婚計画にとって個体の死は精神的
The
な
death
意
of
味
the
での前進
individual
になるの
advances
で
the
す
spirit,
何
okay.
しろ計画からすれば文明とはあまたの世代の人々がそのムクロと遺言で築いたもの
I
です
mean,
から
that's true.
まあこれはこれで
Yeah, bro, my head is already hurting.
ブローニャ大丈夫
But it's okay. It's okay. We will get to a point where I do understand some parts, but at the same time, it's like I don't know if it's even necessary to like fully understand this. Like
大丈夫ですだんだん分かってきました重装ウサギ以外の機械の
to
システム
speak
と
to
会話を
something
するのは
mechanical other
どん
than
な感
Project
覚なのか
Bunny.
を効率と受容力を考慮した上であなたにとって最適な帯域幅を選択しました
Like the whole talk about fiction and ideas and reality and everything. It's just, it's a little bit much.
そうじゃないと
Because I
機械
feel
の
like
情
they
報が
could have
私たちの脳を
written
覆い
this
尽く
so
すで
much
しょ
easier, like even with these terms, but make it more visual, make it more easier to understand, you know? Otherwise, the system will flood our minds with information, right?
その発
Like the
想は
will
面
of
白いですね
Honkai does.
古代から今に至るありとあらゆる知者の脳を加えても機械が操る膨大なデータの波に耐えきることはできません
They could not withstand the vast amount of data that machines use.
機械が人間を片付けようとするならこれが最もシンプルで実用的な方法です
Like, I can only say this because I read about the will of Honkai, and I understand now why Otto was so overwhelmed when he met the will of Honkai, because he said he can't, like, make out what it is exactly saying in some kind of way, right? Because there was just so much information that he couldn't comprehend it. So, it makes sense in some kind of way now.
でもその方法で雷の律者を処理することはできないわ
確かにそうですねしかしそれは今の苦境とは
He's
全く
like,
別
it's
の
not your
話にな
part
ります
now.
ブローニャ先ほどは最短の時間で成婚計画の
Yeah.
フレームワークをあなたに理解させました今断りの律者の力はほとんど残っていませんが 30万人の子
By
孫を
slowly
一つ一つ取り戻してい
reclaiming.
けば
But that sounds
真の
like a
断
lot of
りの
work.
力者に
Like
なります
300,000 mines are a lot.
だからこそあてもなく濃度をたどるよりも重要な経路の発見方法を見出す必要があるのです、その上で先ほどブローニャの脳で試したように妥当な策を実行すれば
Ah,
確実に
okay.
断りの律者は成婚計画を超えるための堅固な礎になります。発見方法、つまりコアの中にある30万人の思想は絶対的に平等というわけではない。だから
Aren't all
重要な濃度
equal?
さえ制御すれば争奪戦で勝利
Like
できる
even
って意味ですか。
even as like a combined consciousness, not everyone is equal. I am just having a stuffed animal here for I don't know, just to squeeze it, guys. I need something in my hands to like concentrate.
飲み込みが早いですね。ではそれをやり遂げることができるかどうか早速実験してみましょう。
Hmm.
前の
I
人
didn't
間の
expect
生き
for
方を
like
模倣
Bronya
し
to have
成
like
婚計画の
a
力を
whole
借りて
chapter.
前方に新たな記憶を浮上させます。
Okay.
すべてがうまくいけば
Yeah, power should at least return to where it
ケ
was
ビンと
before
戦
your
う
fight
前
with
のレ
Kevin.
ベルまで
Okay.
戻るでしょう。前の人間、さっきも彼と会っています。名前は言わなくてもわかりますよね。ウェルト・ジョイスさん。
Oh. How is that your predecessor? Like May and Kiara just casually walking.
これは記憶以外にも何か混ざっているんですか。素晴らしいですね。どうやって分類すればいいかも覚えたようです。
Project Stigma has planted it into 300,000 mine as a wedge. That is crazy.
なので、とある異物も断りの律者の内部に埋め込まれたのです。
Okay.
先に進んでください。そうすれば、なぜそうなったのかがすぐにわかります。
Okay, then let's find out. Interact with the memory beam. Oh god. Why are we back with this? Wasn't he like, he fell from the sky, she fell from the sky, and now she was born among the clouds, a mist among the setting sun. She had yet to awake to her own consciousness and had yet to know the desolation of this plane. She doesn't understand that the bloodied, painful, sorrowful picture has left its stain of tears on this pale earth more than once. She doesn't know she will become a bad omen in the scroll, a horrible symbol in the hearts of others until 10 years later. What are we talking about? That's still Bronya's memory? That is crazy. It's time to tell you where the ghost town is.
ゴーストタウンですか。ブローニャが生まれた。
そうだ。シベリアにはたくさんのゴーストタウンが存在する。
Alexandra.
お前の母のアレクサンドラもその中の一箇所で暮らしていた。
Okay, backstory to her mother. We don't really know anything about her parents as far as I can recall, right? This is the first time, like, in this chapter that we are hearing about Bronya's past, like, except for the fact that she was, like, already a mercenary when she was found by Cocolia, right?
お前はもう10歳だ。危険を分別して自分を守る
You're
力を持
old
ってい
enough to
る。
recognize
同時に
danger.
唯一の生
Keep
存者と
yourself
いう重
safe,
さも
bro.
理解
She's
しているは
10
ずだ。
years old.
今なら自分の本当の故郷がどこにあるかを知る権利がある。
Okay.
ブラッドがいつも自分をモスクワ人って呼ぶのと同じようなものですか。
Okay.
その程度の器しかないのさ。俺なんかタギル生まれだなんて一度も言ってない。まあ、奴にとってウラル山脈には特別な意味があるんだろうな。
What's happening?
ウラル山脈ですか。異物はここに埋め込まれたんですね。
The variants. Seeing this memory using Prometheus's method, the third Herrscher of Reason noticed something was off. The name, the Silver Wolf of the Urals, inherited from Maxim, symbolized the girl's past. Wait, is that her name? The Silver Wolf? Like Silver Wolf in Honkai Star Rail? That's crazy. But the girl has yet to understand that on this planet, another one's fate was once intertwined with hers. Whose? She repaired the memory with information implanted in it and regained a bit of her
お
power.
めでとうございます、ブローニャ。彼女に関する
Oh,
最初の秘
so
密を見つけ
she
ま
needs
した
to
ね。
find out more about her past in order to regain her powers.
彼女ですか。ええ。誰のことかはわかりますよね。なので、今重要なのは、成婚計画の助けを得た彼女が自分の記憶を
Ooh.
あなた
With
の不
help
安
from
定なコアに植え
Project
込んだ
Stigma,
と
she
いう
has
事実で
mixed
す。
her memories in with your now unstable core.
つまり、以前あなたがほのめかしたように、成婚計画と断りの律者の類似性が原因で、
Are we still
彼
talking
女は
about
断り
hair?
の律者の力をとても恐れているんですか。いいえ、彼女の動機はおそらく違います。しかし、動機など行動に比べればそんなに重要ではありません。機能上、彼女が植え込ん
The
だ情報
information she
はも
implanted
とも
has
と
the
コア
power
を
to
侵食す
erode
る
the
能力を持
core.
っています。ただ、そう焦ら
No
なくて
need
も
to
大丈夫で
panic.
す。
I am
相手の
chill.
出方を逆手に取り、隙を見て主導権を取り戻せ
And
ば、
separate
互
from
角に
her.
渡り合えるようになるでしょう。
Huh.
キアナとメイ姉さんは以前と同じように一番脱出しやすい位置に送ります。
Okay, once you get
あ
your
なた
power
が何
back,
ら
they
か
will
の形
return
で
to
断り
reality.
の律者の力を
Okay.
回
I
復させ
mean,
ることができれば、
guys, at
彼女
least
た
we
ち
have
も
a
自然
plan,
と現実に戻れます。
right?
となると、ブローニャはこのインプラントの偽装を暴いて、コアが隠れられないようにすればいいんですね。
But who is it? Maybe I'm the only one who is like like guys, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I'm sometimes so confused. I feel like it should click with me who it is.
要点をうまくま
But
とめられ
mostly
て
in
ま
the
すね。
story, whenever I'm confused, it's just hair, so.
断りの律者、その力が過度の虚構によって崩壊するのであれば、
Restored by a
自
return
然
to
と現
reality.
実への回帰で回復させることができるでしょう。
The screen. Regardless, you are all daughters of Siberia. Where is Sela actually? Wasn't she on the way to help us? I hope she's safe. She's just chilling on the robot.
記憶の中にブローニャの実体が存在していますね。それは断りの律者のコアで見つけた空間。
It's the
あ
only
なたが見つけ
original
た
appearance
イン
of
プ
the
ラントの
implant.
本来の姿です。
Huh?
もう少し奥のエリアにたどり着けるのは、成婚計画と密接な関係がある彼女と断りの律者であるあなただけです。
Only she that's close to Project Stigma will be able to reach deeper, and you, the Herrscher of
しかし、
Reason.
律者コアは虚数空間の不動点です。難易度を考慮しなければ、
Okay.
進むことで仲間のために次元を乗
It's
り
a
越え、
fixed point
現
in
実に帰
imaginary
還できる
space.
道を切り開けます。
Hmm.
この先で、ブローニャは何に
Yeah,
出
that
会
is
う
the
ので
big
すか。
question.
歪んだ一つの心
A
です。
twisted heart? What does that
こう
mean?
考えてください。彼女は、
You
ベ
might
ルト・ジ
think
ョイ
of
スと
her
は
as the
正反対
exact
の人物
opposite
で
of
す。
Welt Joyce.
彼女は、成婚計画を実行する上で、断りの律者を警戒し、
Hmm.
そして、彼女自身も断りの律者を妬んでい
She's
ま
also
した。
jealous.
誤解しないでください。彼女はわざとあなたたちの敵になっているわけではありません。
I don't know if that sounds like hair or this is just something different.
何はどうあれ、あなたたちは同じシベリアの娘。
Like, this is throwing me off. Like, is this about Zela, maybe?
どちらもウラル山脈の子供
Children
な
of
のです。
What? Okay. I don't know. Children of the Euromount. Who is it?
回線が途切れたようですね。
Bro, Bronya has a dark backstory. I mean, we already knew that she was a mercenary very young, right? And she had to experience like crazy things, but like seeing her story now, isn't it just you? What is that? Investigate.
いや、
Oh, it is her. It is always her. Whenever I'm confused, it is always her. Like, how can she be here though?
私のせいじゃない。違う
Huh.
の。私は
Oh my god, what's happening? Did she? Oh, was she there in the second eruption? Or no, right? Like, Bronya was 10 years old. I'm confused. What is happening? As for the stigma crystal, she didn't seem to get where the pain in her heart was coming from. But this had already been explained long ago. Everyone that can be called human has a giant snake coiled around their heart like a tyrannical ruler. Whenever someone says, I want, the snake says no. Moment of birth. What is happening? Your tank is very powerful, General. It can level forests and people, but it still needs a driver. Weren't we talking about like Bronya's mother before? And now I'm like seeing Misteln. Is there a connection? Okay, that if they are connected in some kind of way, it gets very weird. Because imagine Misteln is actually Alexandra, Bronya's mother. That would be crazy, right? Your plane is very powerful, General. It can fly like the wind and carry as much as an elephant, but it still needs a repairman. You men are very useful, General. Your men, probably. They can fly and they can kill, but they can also think. But now such pros and cons no longer exist. Death removes all definitions and ideas. The shot is insane. Or maybe her mother was killed? Like, imagine this would be Bronya's mother. That would be crazy. Can they even get children?
これは
Sorry. There's much she must feel. Form, structure, and the cold wind like a knife. This is her birth. At that moment, she still couldn't associate the disaster that devoured all with her own existence.
私は人間になったの
Wait, she just showed up here? This is an experience like nothing else. Just as a newborn, she had not chosen to come into this world on her own and did not know where to go. But unlike a baby, just moments after her birth, she already knows speech, knows right from wrong, and even understands her own birth. That is insane. That is insane.
これはすごく面白いわね
You think? She composed herself and, like anyone else, became interested in the things around her. Weather, machinery, the sky, she understands these concepts, but she had never been exposed to any real substance. So she was born from... Bro, this is a long time ago, right? Her perception was strange in this way. She knows about snowflakes in terms of temperature, feel, appearance, and even the way they crystallize. But until now, she had never touched a snowflake.
ここで何が起こったの
Schariac question mark. So they say she was planted in Bronya's memories because they share a common birthplace. She's not her mother. It would have been weird, right? But the conversation beforehand about like the mother of like Bronya and stuff like that.
機械から壊れた機械に変わったのね
Why is she afraid though of the Herrscher of Reason's core then? Because they share the same birthplace?
なんだか無駄話にしか
Oh,
聞こ
she's
え
a
な
little
い
bit
わ
different.
けど
This is how she perceives external matters almost instinctively. Matters can easily distinguish other matters, and it is the same with ideas.
ええ、大丈夫。あなたの顛末を私に
Let
見
me
せて。
see your history.
あなたは消えてなんかいない。消失が概念であるとき、それは同じように存在することになる。
When disappearance is an idea, it still exists. Because of the fact that it is an idea? In one breath, all information concerning the machine flowed into the woman's body. Oh, because this is similar to like creating like what the Herrscher of Reason core does in some kind of way. Through this technique known as transcription, she easily learned the story of its life.
4年前に完成。メインとなる技術の情報漏洩を防ぐために、3つの企業がそれぞれ部品を製
This
造
is very
した。
similar to Herrscher of Reason, right?
数年間店名で働き、メンテナンスを3回実施。
For many years, it has only served Schicksal and has undergone 3 overhauls.
第6の神の鍵を捜索する任務中に、発生源不明の崩壊エネルギーを大量に浴び、それによって壊れた。大量の崩壊エネルギー？
Interesting that she can learn this stuff. Oh. Just because of the fact that she gets
確かに
information through
この辺りで何かしらの災害が起こったみたいだわ。もしかしてそれが私が限界突破できた理由？
across the boundary. The boundary between fiction and
こ
reality,
の情報
probably.
は以前見たものとそう変わらないわね。
And there is the... I forgot the name.
第6の神の鍵。
Yeah.
これが彼らが探していたもの？
But doesn't Durandal have it now? Just as she went to pull information from the object, she hesitated because it is also death, right? Somehow the bloodied weapon before her emitted an aura similar to her own. Interesting. No, not similar, opposite. Okay. No, that wasn't quite it. She felt confused.
私と関わりがあるのは武器そのものじゃなくて、それについている血液。
Doesn't it also draw life force from you when you use it? I feel like I remember something with like Cecilia and that story. She permitted the dried blood at the level of concept.
君も知っているように、その体内に流れるシャニアテという名の清潔は、範囲内の崩壊エネルギーを一瞬で消滅させる。
Is able to cause Honkai energy in range to disappear immediately.
崩壊と戦う上で、君の血液は確かにとても効果的な道具だ。
Wait, was she a Valkyrie? While saying this, his eyes fell on a quietly running device. It ran silently and efficiently in the room where she filtered her blood. The flowing crimson, like a stylus to a record for much of what was to come. Oh! Why are we getting Cecilia backstory now? I was literally just talking about her. Or maybe she sees this information with the blood, right? Okay, okay.
もし止められないような敵に遭遇したとき、
When I encounter an enemy, I can stop.
君が思いついたように、力尽きるまで戦うより、相手に向かって動脈を切った方が効率的だ。
Oh god.
だが、神殺しの槍に何らかの進捗があるまで、そうすることは許さない。
I didn't expect him to bring like a scene with Otterberg.
大量に血を失ってしまうと、君の場合、一般人のように輸血を行って応急手当てをすることは
As
で
we
きないから
usually
ね。
do. Why not?
実際、神殺しの槍の開発の第一歩となったのが、
The first step in
清潔
Spear
の
of
クローン
Destiny was cloning this holy blood.
だが、たとえ開発すること自体はできても、量産方法は見つけづらいだろ
Huh.
う。だから、特殊な状況を除いて、血液を武器として使ってはいけない。
And that is why Durandala can also use the spear because she's also a Schariac, right?
しかし、
I'm just trying to remember stuff again.
わかっているよ。君のことだ。この程度の説明では、無駄死にを止めることはできないだろう。
I mean, in the end she did, right?
君はまだ若い。その身で1分1秒ごとにシャニアテの血筋を感じ取ってはいるものの、そのおかしさについてはあまりにも無知すぎる。聖婚の呪い。この話をするのは初めてだね。
Herrscher of Stigma, right? Huh. Is that the stigma that I was talking about that eats away your life force?
聖婚の呪い？
その通り。カスラナ家とは違い、シャニアテの血筋を維持しているのは偶然の遺伝
Didn't he
的な変異、
create the first Schariac?
もしくは阻害の情報。
Wasn't that with like the black cube, I feel like, in the manga?
今君の体内にある清潔、そして君自身の遺伝子は僕が情報を分類し、その純度を高めて作ったものなんだ。
Because the first, the girl that was fighting against Cullen, wasn't her name Schariac? Then he gave her the name Schariac.
それはあくまで改良じゃなくて分類だ。
I could completely eliminate the information in your genes that can lead to side effects.
遺伝子から取り除くことはでき
And
な
why
い。
not do that?
司教様でもできなかったんですか？
Wait, what? I thought he can. Note that I said categorize. I could completely eliminate. Why is she saying not even the overseer can do that?
唯一の方法はある。だがそうすると君は一般人よりも衰弱してしまう。
And of course she
最強
doesn't
のバル
want
キリーにな
that.
るなど到底無理だろうね。実のところシャニアテの聖婚、そこに秘められた矛盾は君の想像をはるかに上回っている。長年にわたって伝わってきた同族が持つ2つの全く異なる力を不思議だと思ったことはないかい？
You've never wondered how people of the same line could possess wildly different powers? I'm trying to get the reason why this is connected to Misteln. Like she has such a role in this whole chapter that it confuses me because I didn't expect her to be in these chapters at all, and now it feels like she has such a major role and is somehow connected to Bronya and the Herrscher of, or maybe it's just to give background to like Project Stigma and how she was creating this web. Maybe.
全く異なる。自身の操る崩壊エネルギーを強化するのが得意で戦士になったり、
Interesting.
崩壊エネルギーの侵食を弱めるのが得意で医者になったりすることですか？
その通りさ。シャニアテの血筋は自身と衝突し矛盾を起こす存在なんだ。
For most in that line, like myself.
その衝
Wait,
突の結果、いささかな崩
was
壊エ
his
ネルギ
mother
ー体制だけを得た。
I don't really remember anymore. The result is a little more than resistance to Honkai
これ
energy.
こそが聖婚の呪いだ。
Huh.
どちらかの純度を上げ
Is
ると
that why he's so
ただ
weak?
清潔を提供するだけの実験対象、もしくは崩壊エネルギーを短時間自在に駆使し、その後はすぐさま命を失う存在にな
Providing
る。
holy blood or wield Honkai energy at the risk of your life.
では司教様は一体、
思いついたかい？僕は中和の部分は血液に、
He
強化
already
の部
did
分は
it?
気
What?
骨に効果が出るように調整したんだ。100年以上の時間がかかったけどね。
But you ought to be proud of yourself, Cecilia. So he did it, and then she got the holy blood, right?
自分を道具だと思い込んでいても、まあその話は一旦置いておこう。とにかく
You
君は
wield the
衝
power
突
of
する
growth
力
and
を一つにまと
winnowing.
め、手にした黒煙白化で創生と朝礼の力を発揮することができ
I forgot the name of Abyss Flower, but the Abyss Flower is what also eats away her life, right?
もしその微妙な均衡を破ることを選択した場合、放たれた清潔はその効果を発揮し、
Make
君が
what?
犠牲とな
Maybe
っ
the
た地は
holy blood will
崩
still
壊の
work.
禁域、人類の
Making
楽
where
園
you
になるかもしれない。
sacrifice a haven from Honkai. A paradise on earth.
同時に、もし僕が心配したようにそれが反転し、未処理のまま君の体内から流れ出てしまったら、崩壊を呼び寄せる毒地へと変貌する可能性がある。
Abyss Flower made of the core of the Herrscher of Death? I can't really
も
remember.
ちろん他にも意外とも言える可能性は存在するだろうね。
でもそれは私が知りたいことと全く関係ない。
And what are you after?
最初からある情報しかないのね。
Okay. Altering her perspective, she pivots time in her perception and then perceives the snowy field once more. She went back not long before, right as the second eruption was near its end. Oh god.
ごめんね。時間フリーと
No.
嘘をつ
She's
いちゃった。
dying.
今回は
Cecilia.
一緒に帰れない。
That was so sad, man.
ごめんね。キアナ、
I'm having chills.
大きくなったら、ちゃんとお父さんの面倒を見てあげてね。
Man. Holy blood unleashed. At the cost of more than half of her blood, the strongest Valkyrie went all out to deal a fatal blow to the absolute calamity. But as the outsider reading the scene right now, she didn't focus on the heroic deed. In this extreme state, her stigma did go beyond the Herrscher of the Void's authority and briefly break the boundaries between reality and the imaginary space. So that's why we are seeing this, to like get background of her stigma.
もちろん他にも意外とも言える可能性は存在するだろうね。
I hate Otto
だ
so
が
much.
その時に何がどうなるかは僕に
Shut up, Otto, please. The instant the imaginary space was connected, the entity known as the stigma space by humanity first emerged in the human world. Wait, what? So the stigma space came to life when Cecilia died? It first proved the descent of ideas as the byproduct of the stigma's curse on Schariac.
つまり私
What?
ならさっき見てきた光景も第二次崩壊によって
Huh. If she had known no more, she might be able to jump to the conclusion rashly and stay firmly convinced. Why is the sad music playing? But just now, the information she obtained with ease gave her a sudden fatal blow. So the second eruption was what gave birth to the stigma space and in the end gave birth to the Schariac Stigma. Right?
第6の神の鍵を捜索する任務中に発生源不明の崩壊エネルギーを大量に浴び、それによって壊れた。
After all, anyone familiar with the history knew, not long ago the woman named Cecilia spread the sanguine flowers of redemption throughout the snowfield at the cost of her life. They saved millions of lives and countless families. In her final hours, Cecilia Schariac did precisely control the spill of the stigma power. That is insane. The reversal that the overseer claimed didn't exist, otherwise the millions of lives would have met the same fate as this machine. But if this was true, there was only one explanation for the remains she saw along the way.
いや、私のせいじゃない。違うの。
Oh.
私は。
Someone once said that there is joy in disasters. It can be tempting to destroy everything. Can it? For ordinary men, this desire might be deeply rooted in their hearts. Yeah, maybe for men. But for an ultimately unique stigma like Schariac, for its crystals and ideas. She turned around to look at her birthplace and her trail with trembling desperation. To figure out what exactly happened, she traveled a long way to understand her origin, but turned out she was unable to cure the disease from the get-go. She was the disease itself. I wouldn't say that. But it's like, yeah.
やっと始まりますね。
It's finally begun. Bro, this is insane story, guys. Like, this is a really... But it kind of makes some sense, you know, as of right now. I feel like I'm connecting a few dots so far.